Welcome up on my DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. I'm hanging with two of my favorites today, Dawn of Shabby Meets Bling and Shelly of Repurposed My Way for the Thrifted Flips and Finds collaboration. You'll find links to their channels, as well as a link to the playlist in the description box. I have a couple of quickies for you. My projects are really more of a refresh, so let's get into it. I was doing a wee bit of spring cleaning through my supplies. Everything, tends to get out of hand pretty fast. So I thought I'd better take control ASAP. I came across some ephemera amongst my nest of paper scraps, which includes some French typography and this bunny that I printed out last year and never got around to using. I got some fabulous newspaper print. I'm pretty sure I printed that out last year too. These are all printed on cardstock. Anyway, I thought we could make some cool mixed media pieces with these goodies. I figured, let's make a spring basket. So I went ahead and I printed another bunny and another basket that have the same sort of vibe as the bunny that I found. And these two are printed on cardstock. I'm loving this paper, so I'm going to trace a basket shape onto the back of it, and we're going to cut it out. I'm doing this in 2 layers, one for the front and one for the back. After cutting out the basket, I realized I should probably add an additional reinforcement layer of cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'll use my glue stick to attach the image to some black cardstock and then cut that out. Yeah, I'm going to attach my basket to some black cardstock as well. And as I'm cutting, I'm leaving a wee bit of a black border around the basket when I cut, to add some interest, as well as to reinforce it. Right, so now I'm going to grunge up my bunny and my basket with some Tim Holtz Vintage Photograph Distressing ink. This is going to give it a lovely, worn look. You guys know that this is my favorite ink. I love to use this. It's so simple to distress just about anything with this. And I'm just applying it with a cosmetic sponge. We'll do a little bit around the edge of the basket. I'm going to cut down some of this corrugated trim to fit around the opening of the basket. This is that stuff that teachers use to outline their bulletin boards. It's just like a scalloped corrugated cardboard trim. Okay, so once I get this cut to shape, I'm going to affix that in place with my 3-in-1 glue. And we're going to add some trim to the back as well. I have some of that corrugated cardboard left over, so I'm going to attach that to the back of the bunny to give him some dimension. Let's add some more of the Vintage Photograph ink in select areas. And now we can assemble our pieces. I want his paws to hang over the front of the basket like this. So we'll just glue him down. I have here a wee pinch of paper shred. We're going to glue that on either side of the bunny, like so. We're going to need some sprinkles, methinks, so I spritzed my paint with some water. This is Ceramco charcoal paint, by the way. With my craft toothbrush, I'm going to pull my thumb across the bristles to fleck our project. This adds, a dash of noise, a little chaos. You feel me? Right, so I cut a length of rusty twisted wire, and I'm going to attach that to the basket as a handle. It's easy enough to punch a wee hole through the cardstock with my clay needle tool, and we'll just thread that wire right through. Cute, cute. Now let's add a shabby bow. I also added more trim at the bottom, but you'll get to see that in the final reveal. So next we're going to use this woven basket image to house that bunny from last year. We're just going to reinforce the basket with some black cardstock to coordinate it, with our first basket and bunny. Once again, using my Elmer's glue stick to affix it. And I'll leave a black border around this when I cut it out, just like before. Same deal with the rabbit. And of course, he's going to need some of that vintage photograph distressing ink. We're going to add this to all our paper pieces to tie it together with the other basket. Let's assemble everything with the 3-in-1 glue. Going to get a little paper shred going, make it look like he's, nestled in the paper shred. We'll add some of that corrugated trim, just like before. Cool, cool. I added a twisted rusty wire handle, and now we're going to sprinkle it. And then we can glue the chocolate label into place right there on the front of the basket. And I'll add a few buttons to embellish. A few years back, I painted these Dollar Tree buckets to look like vintage grubby enamelware. They come in handy throughout the seasons for some quick decor pieces. I thought they'd be perfect for a touch of spring. I'm going to use this box flap and this skewer to create a couple of sweet leaping hares. We're going to need to remove the top layer to expose that corrugated surface. That's what I'm looking for here, to give us that rustic, shabby, industrial vibe. That's my fave. I like that there are bits and pieces of the paper left behind. Yeah, I think that looks cool. I found this sleeping hare shape that I liked, and we are going to trace it onto the cardboard. After I trace the first time, I'm going to flip it over so that the hairs will be facing opposite directions and trace it again. And now we're going to cut them out. See, there we go. I like that there's a little bit of that paper still stuck there. That works for me. I'm going to give both sides of our hairs a coat of white paint. This is just regular old acrylic paint, and I'm going to keep it really loose so that some of the cardboard shows through beneath it. You know what I mean? Now for the flip side. I've cut another small piece of the cardboard, and I have the skewer here we're going to use this to fashion a pick for our hair. So the cardboard is going to get a coat of white, and the skewer will get a coat of Ceramcoat charcoal. I want to use these French typography pieces on the hairs, but I need to tone them down just a wee bit. So I'm going to lightly dry brush them with the white paint, just enough to give it a faded appearance. Then we are going to hit the edges with vintage photograph ink. And while we're at it, we're going to add some of that vintage photograph ink to the hairs. Then I'm going to come in and use a wee touch of black ink to the edges of the ephemera. I want to add some black to the hairs as well, so I'm going to use my Jolie wax for this. I'm lightly dusting it on, and I'm going to wipe it back with a soft rag. This is going to add a really nice, subtle, soft, aged look. Right, now we can assemble. So let's affix the label to our hair with some hot glue. Just kind of right there in the middle. I guess it's a little more toward the back, really. Yeah, that's good. Now we can add a sweet wee bow. Now we can attach the pick to the back. First I'm going to attach the stick, and then I'm going to place the cardboard over top of it, to reinforce it and make it nice and sturdy. Let's give this girl a wee chocolat tag. Again, just using a wee bit of hot glue here. And she'll get a bow, and the bow will get a button. I do love a wee paper project every now and then. There we go. Love that button. Shall we take a look at our finished projects? Here's our first wee paper bunny in his paper basket. I love the mixed media feel of this, the colors, and just the vintage vibe overall. And here's that found bunny from last year that inspired this whole project. I love the variety of textures to this. Even though everything is, the same color palette, there's a lot of movement and a lot of noise. I really love it. Let me know what you think. And here's our first cardboard leaping hare. Love the way this turned out too. I love the idea of recycling plain old cardboard and to get something so unique. I don't know. I love the industrial, shabby vibe of this. I think it's so cool. What do you think? And here's everything all together. I gotta say, this was so relaxing. I love getting to use things that would just otherwise sit around or get tossed out. I love the way this turned out. I hope you guys loved it too. Please let me know. Drop me a comment if you are so inclined. Please be sure to check out Dawn and Shelly's channels. You're going to find links in the description box, along with a link for the playlist. Check out everybody's videos and show everyone some love. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday weekend, whatever holiday you happen to celebrate. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up all night with Monica.